Hello again, everybody. Usually I'm not a guy you want to come to for food and nutrition advice. As some of you know, I'm going to tell you the things I was told to you at the Olympic Training Center. Eat more veggies, eat more protein, drink water. Or the way Rob Wolf summed it for me years later, he said, more protein, more fiber, more fish oil. Well, funny thing is, I have a nutrition book that actually backs up all that stuff. I love this book. It's called Death by Food Pyramid by Denise Menger. And some of the books I've reviewed, as I've discovered, are very hard to find because some of them are hard to find. Somebody told me that Purposeful Primitive, the moment I recommended it, skyrocketed on eBay and that other place where it's named after a river that rips off its authors. The reason I like this book is for a couple reasons. First, it was recommended to me and given to me by one of my nutritionists, Mark Halpern. I'm very blessed to have a number of people in my sphere who really are Ashley, Matt. Well, I'm going to throw in John Berardi, a good friend of mine, John Berardi. These are people I can bounce these things off of, and most of the time they tell me, "Yeah, you're fine. Stick with easy strength and 5 sets of 2 or whatever the hell." Well, what I liked about this book is she starts off with her personal story, and frankly, there are parts of it that are a little bit, well, I don't know if I want to keep reading this. But then all of a sudden, she does something very unique. She learns from some mistakes and then shares the insights. Well, she does a lot of good work with the historical study of the food pyramid and all the problems it had. I can't necessarily rip on the people who tried to put this together. We all certainly understand what they were trying to do. Sadly, the sugar industry and the various, grain, lobbyists and all the rest kind of got their mitts on it and ruined it for everybody. But the thing I like best about this book is that throughout the book, she constantly comes back to what I would consider reasonable answers. My favorite part of the book is when she takes the three, I hate to call them the best, but say like the very heavy vegetable only school, the paleo school, and the Mediterranean diet school, okay? And instead of saying where they differ, she tells us where they come down the same. And it's really kind of brilliant. Cut back on sugar, and it's, I say the same thing in my workshops. Get rid of cardboard carbohydrates, anything that comes in a box or a bag, don't eat it. Stay away from those fake fats that they make in the chemical labs. I always joke that if you give me a cow and YouTube, I'd probably figure out how to make butter. But you need a research chemist to figure out how to take corn and turn it into corn oil. It's a good book. It's readable, well-cited. I don't know enough about the citations to judge whether they're worth it or not, but she certainly does her homework. Denise goes overboard supporting every single thing she says, which is nice, I guess. If you want to argue, you better read a lot. But I want to go to the summary real quick for you, just highlight a few points. The summary is called the take-home kit. The first thing she says, get rid of refined sugar and refined grains. Pretty simple. Watch those omega-6 vegetable oils. Okay, that's bullet point number 1. Bullet point number 2, get yourself fat-soluble vitamins, whether it comes from shellfish or whatever. Get them in your body. Good advice. The third, eat nutrient-dense foods. And of course, if you've ever made homemade soup and you eat a bowl and you feel full, there's a good reason for that if you come to my house, because it's going to be filled with 18 to 20 different vegetables. There's going to probably be a number of other things in there, hints of this and that, and you're going to stay pretty full fairly long. Contrast that with donuts and you'll understand what she's talking about. It's those next two that I think are really important. Respect your genetics. If you decide to go down this road and your teeth start falling out and your bad cholesterol goes to the roof and everybody starts worrying about you, maybe your body isn't designed, even though you read a book about it, maybe your body isn't designed to eat that way. So I have great respect for that. in one of the first diet books I ever read, it was a health book, but it was called Dr. Howard Jarvis, Vermont Folk Medicine. He talked about a thing called your human house, and you should really try to follow the diet of your ancestors. And when you go into the Blue Zones books, whether you believe all of it or not, very often it's because those people eat the traditional foods. Dr. Bob Arnott's book on fat loss, basically he says, eat ethnic. Some people have said that a little differently. It is a bit of offensive here, but eat poor people's foods. And I think we all know what that's trying to say. The last two, acknowledge that health is a lot more than just what you shovel in your mouth. And I found that quite refreshing. There's more to health and longevity, fitness, and performance than just how many eggs you have for breakfast versus avocado toast. I thought that was refreshing. And then the very last point, and it's good life advice, stay anchored to your own truth. Try not to get yourself swept up into these idiotic internet debates about, I don't know, this diet or that diet. It's not worth your time and energy. Once again, like all the books in this series, I recommend this book wholeheartedly. What I liked about it is if you read the work of Phil Maffetone and you read Denise's book here, you come away with some of the same basic concepts. And I find that generally when I look at the best and brightest, they all seem to circle around certain concepts in every field. And it doesn't matter what the field is. Again, anything back on Marty's Purposeful Primitive, he found the best and brightest in bodybuilding, Olympic lifting, and powerlifting, and noted that there's some real similarities there. So that's what I want to look for in my career when it comes to almost every single approach to every aspect of training and, honestly, and life. I'm Dan John from Dan John University. I hope you got something out of this, and I'll continue trying to share my library with you. Thank you.